Russ Clark, live and local on 560 AM KPLU.
Wednesday morning, 7:05, live and local with Russ Clark, AM 560 KBLU. Senator McCain should be on the line. Good morning, Senator.
Hey, good morning, Russ. How are you?
Man, I'm doing well. I was reading your schedule the other day. You going to be all right for tomorrow?
Yeah, we're gonna be in town tomorrow, and we're looking. The governor and I, and Ruth McClung, the next congressperson.
Well, yeah. Well, and I saw that schedule. You're going to be all over the state. You're gonna be on the go. It's like a cadet from Annapolis.
Well, we're all over. You never take anything for granted. And
yeah.
By the way, one of my favorite places in America is Yuma, Arizona, where I had some of my wonderful memories beginning as a young Navy pilot. And so we're looking for coming back with the governor and Ruth McClung and a number of other people. And it's a campaign season, and I'm very optimistic that we can win this race. If we get our votes out, I think we can elect Ruth McClung, and I think Yuma could be the key place for it.
Well, I'm tickled to hear you mention her and put some energy behind her, because she's a fabulous young lady that I think would do us really well in Washington.
She is very, very smart. Smarter than you and I put together, by the way, Russ.
That's not going far.
Degree from the University of Arizona, I believe in astrophysics. I believe it is.
Yeah, she's a rocket scientist for sure.
Yeah, and she and her husband are a dynamic duo. She's a good conservative. She will not vote for Nancy Pelosi to be the Speaker of the House, and she would. If there's anything, the big domestic problem right now, obviously, it's the economy, and somebody with her smarts and her background and knowledge, I think she'd hit the ground running.
I think so, and she's been out on that trail for a year and a half. We've been entertaining Ruth McClung. Yeah. She has energy.
And by the way, you explained to me why any person who purports to represent the people of Arizona would want to hurt them by advocating a boycott of the state of Arizona and hurt the people that Grijalva said he is trying to represent. It's crazy.
Do people?
And he's blocking a mine up in a land swap so we could start a mine up in Superior, which would provide 2,000 immediate jobs, and he's blocking it. He's blocking it, and has for 2 years. It's really beyond belief.
We understand it here, Senator. We do. We do understand it, and we're outraged. Do they understand it in D.C.? Is it news in Washington? Is that understood?
No, not really.
Okay, all right. I didn't know if it really resonated, the outrage that we feel of our own congressman boycotting us.
Well, it's resonated to me from the people of his district, and particularly down in Yuma. But over in Superior, for example, they've got very high unemployment over there, Russ. The Superior, Globe, Miami area, where traditional mining area. Stores closed, homes. Really tough economic times, and we have a chance to create 2,000 new jobs in the richest copper ore ever discovered in North America, and he's blocking it. It's not believable when we have the tough economic times we have today.
Well, he's been helping block things here in Yuma. We have the desert over in California that Center for Biological Diversity has shut off to outdoor recreation. And he's been supportive and helpful in that also, and that's been going on for years. So he's been hurting us for a while, Senator.
Could I tell you one story about the Center for Biological Diversity up in Flagstaff? They had a program for thinning the forest up there.
Uh-huh.
The Center for Biological Diversity sued. It was blocked. They had a flood, a fire, and the Schultz fire, and then a flood. And guess what? People's homes were covered with mud. The Center for Biological Diversity, by bringing suit against thinning that forest up there, directly responsible for people's homes being and their lives being literally destroyed.
I know, and it's been sad to watch, and they just don't get it. Question for you, and I know you're going to be here tomorrow at Lutz Casino at noon. Some callers have called in and asked me to ask you some questions. Most of them were kind. Most of them were kind to you too, by the way, Senator. It was very nice.
Well, that's good.
Pledge to America is something you stand behind. Something that
Yeah, but I wanted to go further.
Okay.
I want us to have a commitment to a balanced budget amendment to the Constitution. I want us to commit to no earmarks in pork barrel spending, and I also want to see a stronger commitment to securing the borders. But look, I agree with their pledge. I just want to see it a little stronger. Earmarking has got to go, and they kind of did not address that issue head on like I think they should.
Another question. Most everyone agrees they love the energy of John McCain, the direction, and your strong stance. They want to know, are you going to be the same after the election, and will you still call me and talk to the people of Yuma?
Well, I'll do everything but call you, Russ.
Well, that just shows your good taste.
Trial for me because I hate to call you, but other than that, I promise you, I'll be fine. Look, but let me just say, I'm there to solve problems, and obviously we want to solve problems. If the president will agree to take the steps necessary to secure the border, and we get the border secured, and it is secured in the eyes of Larry Deaver and Jan Brewer, then I'll be glad to talk about comprehensive immigration reform, okay? But not until the border is secured.
Good.
Right?
Yep, you've got everyone's agreement down here, and I think the American people are starting to get that a little bit too. We're still
80% of the American people support what Arizona's trying to do and believe our border should be secured. And by the way, they're not. You may have heard that the all-time high number of bodies found in the desert around Tucson in 2010, 250 some.
We have countries now, though, that are suing us because of Arizona's proposition. In Mexico, one of them, that have gone to the United Nations and complained about our human rights records.
Well, can you blame them when our State Department puts in a human rights report, a complaint about SB 1070? The United States State Department, in a report to the Human Rights Commission, which, by the way, is Iran, Libya, Cuba, those paragons of democracy. So what do you expect? The Obama administration basically included SB 1070 as some kind of violation of human rights. Right. So, of course, wouldn't you expect them to react that way?
Well, my feeling
it's about time we started standing up for America.
Well, when I see Mexico doing what they're doing, whether it's Calderon going and talking negatively about us from Washington, they've got to have some green light from the administration to do those kind of things, don't they?
Yeah, and look, we've got a lot of work to do on relations between our countries. Did you see this terrible, tragic story about this young man who was killed on the lake, and the Mexican authorities will not cooperate to try to find out what happened?
I guess,
Falcon, recover his body.
Falcon down there in Texas. So those pirates have been active now for the last few years, and it kind of goes under the radar that we've got Mexican pirates, not Somalian pirates.
And you saw the young woman, his wife. It's just very touching. It makes you cry. There's no excuse for that.
It shouldn't be happening.
No, it should not be happening.
It shouldn't be happening. And we should not have parts of our state that the federal government puts up signs to say it's unsafe for our citizens to wander into.
No, and I can guarantee you the Secretary of Homeland Security and the people in Washington, D.C. Live in very secure environments. You don't see any signs around where they live that say warning, drug smuggling area or human smuggling area. They're doing just fine. And the President of the United States has still never come to visit the border. Can you believe that?
No.
When the Secretary of State has compared the situation in Mexico to that of Colombia in the 1980s, I mean, it's beyond belief. But he has plenty of time to go out and campaign for his buddy Harry Reid.
Which I understand the polls, Harry Reid is behind again, which is amazing, amazingly good.
Listen, we got a shot at the Senate. We have a shot at the Senate, Russ, and if we do, I'll be chairman of the Senate Armed Services Committee, and I want to tell you it would be the great honor of my life. As you know, Barry Goldwater was once chairman of the Armed Services Committee, too. We could do great things, not just for Arizona, but for the world. Start standing up for America.
Something I haven't heard recently from this administration's cap and trade. Is cap and trade now a dead issue, you think?
we make the gains that we hope that we're going to, yes. And by the way, I'm going to push again for nuclear power, a place to store spent nuclear fuel and recycling. We have to have nuclear power. We have to have 100 nuclear power plants in the next 20 years if we're ever going to get off our reliance on foreign oil. And, by the way, it's clean energy, as
yes.
you know, and does reduce greenhouse gas emissions. But, again, could I mention one thing, Russ?
Sure.
I know you know this, and you got to keep reminding look, we got 26 days left. People are starting to get a little complacent and kind of taking a victory lap before this election is over. A heck of a lot can happen in the next 26 days. Let's not have any slackening off here. We got to really work hard. And Yuma can be one of the pivotal areas in this whole statewide election, as well as the congressional election.
I completely agree, and we need to keep the energy level going. And believe me, the Tea Party's working for that. This radio station's working for that, and we would like to see a huge voter turnout this time.
Well, Yuma can be the place.
I hope so, Senator. I look
forward to.
Yeah, I look.
See you tomorrow, I hope.
I will be at Lutz Casino, but I'm sure the crowd's going to be big enough. I may not be able to shake your hand, but I hope to get close enough.
I always appreciate the opportunity, and thanks for the great work you do, Russ. Thanks again to everybody.
Well, thank you for calling. Take care, sir.
Okay, see you. Bye.